victory as well.
Exactly. So, the player to beat in the top left with the red color, Liquid Red, yet again, ladies and gentlemen. And the bottom right, this is a territory occupied by the mouse controls elite player, who is none other than the blue Protoss, getting his hopes up, Darkomicron.
All right, really loving the vibe I'm getting here from the crowd. You know, so much more energy just makes these events twice as good as they could possibly be. So we're seeing a very safe pylon already being thrown on in the natural for Darko, indicating he once again wants to go for a forward fast expand. He's scouting quite early, actually. Maybe he wants to try and catch Red, do a 15 hatch or something like that.
Looks like it. The probe is going to be just in time. And that's a fairly early scout. You know, some players prefer to scout after the fort, especially if you build it in base. But I guess there's too much on the line for Darkomicron here to do that. We see the pool going down for Liquid Red, so that's very, very safe, very standard timing. And I think he's just going to go ahead and play a standard game, try to take a third base if he can. But at the same time, like I said, swarm hosts on this map, what do you think?
Pretty good. It's you know, it's not the same as what are the other maps that Swarm hosts are really good on again? I forgot the name, sorry.
Neoplanet
is one of them. There's several with tight chokes. This map is a bit more wide open, so there's actually space for Protoss to go around the Swarm host and perform some kind of flanking maneuver. So Swarm host, whereas good, it's not the be-all end-all unit of Zerg in this matchup, especially not on this map.
Yeah. So with the hatch going down, the first two links in production, Red is going to ascertain a certain amount of map presence. And Darkomicron continuing as usual, as normal, getting his pylon. We'll be following that up with the gateway and the gases and the cannon, or more likely with the cannon and then the gases, but that's not that important. Red sending out another drone towards the third base. He will try to take another hatchery there, but look at the timing for scouting coming out of Darkomicron. He comes in at exactly the right time, but he kind of missed the probe.
I didn't check his vision. He might have seen it, the drone.
No. He didn't. He wasn't controlling the. He wasn't controlling the probe. He wasn't looking there at the time. So.
Yeah, tough call if he's seen it though. It's kind of expected of a player like Liquid Red though. And the question is, how is he going to respond?
Oh wait. He did get a glimpse of the creep, though.
He did? Oh, that's great.
He did get a glimpse of the creep, so he knows the third base is up.
All right. So
he's going to say he's going to feel pretty safe right now.
Yeah, he should feel safe, but in a way, that makes him all the more unsafe, because the longer you let Red drone, the more units you're going to be up against when you do try to decide to go for an attack. And the question is, how is he going to respond to this? Is he going to take a third base of his own? He technically could, but it's going to be very hard if Red decides to jump ship and just go all out with him with Lynx and Roaches.
You know, here's where the nature and psychology of the player comes into play. I mean, knowing Red's history, being in Darkomicron's shoes after my Cybercore finishes, maybe I'd go for that. Maybe I'd say to myself, like, well, he's not really gonna all-in me. He's not the type. You know.
It's kind of true, though. I mean, if you see Red take a third base, you kind of know what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
If there's any player in the world who you could say who you actually can't say that off, it has to be Liquid Red, right?
Exactly, but still quite a tough choice to make, and in deciding games, sometimes the more you risk, the more you get. But other times you just take a stupid risk. I'm just going to say it like that outright. You just may take not very wise risk, and you're going to lose because of that. So, however, Darko not doing anything like that. He's just getting a Stargate. So basically, trying to go for the same opening so far that we saw on Daybreak, the map before. He lost there, but Belcher Vestige is a little bit different from Daybreak, just because the center is not that important. It's not that easy to keep control of the center. Whereas on Daybreak, as a Protoss, you're either pinned back to your bases, or you're moving across the map to kill your opponent. But very rarely you see the Protoss in a position against such good players to hold the center and get a fourth base right there and stand toe-to-toe with a very good composition of the Zerg army.
I think you're absolutely right. You worded that perfectly. I literally have nothing to add, so I'm just going to do a bit of play-by-play by now. So.
Thank you, you're so sweet.
So we see, of course, that Red has managed to spot the Phoenix here for, for Darko, and we see Darko adding on a couple more gates. And keep in mind that Darko is actually mining off of 4 gases, so he should be going into something very heavy to base, I think. His +1 is just started, but he doesn't have a Twilight Council, so he's not going to go into like a quick +2. He's just going to add +1 armor. And with this, he could still hit a very nice timing with Phoenixes and mostly gateway units. This time there's no Robo Bay, so against Roaches he will have a harder time. But of course, he can still do it.
I think Darko is being a little bit too passive in this game. I mean, even if you're going for Phoenixes, you can still open up with something like a Zealot, Stalker, Mothership Core harassment. I mean, if you take a look how the game progressed so far, this is the first move out that Darko is doing, but he hasn't harassed Red in any way before, resulting in Red having 8 links and 68 drones with, he's got a strong economy. And his reaction to this? Roaches.
Yep, good old Roaches, along with the upgrades now on the way. Not finished yet, so this might actually be a very decent timing for Darko. The thing is though, here we go, he's going to take a third, and he's only got 4 gates, so this couldn't only 3 gates. Am I counting right? He's got 3 gates. Move out now though for Red, and he's actually forcing back the army here of Darko. He's now actually using his Phoenixes. Now he goes and picks up one of the Roaches while being driven back. Zealots are being warped in just to tank for the Roaches, but I'm not sure if he can do anything really with this army. Roach production already in full-fledged here for Red, and he's gonna force this back.
Well, he is doing the right thing though. He is trying to attack into him, forcing him to make units. Hopefully Red will end up making units that Darko can deal with quite comfortably, which for the moment are Roaches and Lings. So he's already started his Void Ray production, he's cutting Phoenixes entirely, and he's getting a Robo down. So as long as Red tries to counterattack with only Lings and Roaches, with 4 gateways, a couple of Void Rays, good force fields, he should be able to hold that army at bay. Not kill it, but prevent it from doing any damage, and that will allow him to take a 3rd base.
Red is actually streaming down right now. We see, I think the first Void Ray is just about to pop out for
the probes.
Darkomicron. Oh,
the
probes is already finished, and the probes, no, he doesn't.
He's not going for them.
Oh, he's got one more force field, he needs to use the force field. Oh, Red gets in a pretty good position, manages to hug both the sentry, and of course the force in the gateway here, but now we're in a very nice range position with these stalkers, but does he even have the damage to take out all of these Roaches and Lings?
I think he should have.
He doesn't
it's
have
just
the
first couple of force fields were not exactly ideal. Time warp going down on the Roaches, trying to buy time for the second Void Ray to come out, and that's the cue for Red to take all of his Roach band and go play to the 3rd Nexus. Well, let's see how you like the music.
Doing so much damage, finding an opening in the army composition of Darkomicron before he even had a decent army. Before he had decent units to take care of Roaches that didn't have DPS. Now these Roaches, they're already forfeit, but already being reinforced with streaming across the map. Red taking a 4th. Still the 4th hasn't fallen yet for Darko, but Red, he's going to make sure it will.
Yeah, it is going to go down. Darkomicron, well, he's got plenty of resources, but not really warping that much stuff. He wants to make sure he's got enough resources for Immortals and Void Rays, but he's not warping gateway units at all, and he's down to only 1 sentry and 2 Stalkers, and that's his gateway army.
He's completely supply locked, and he's simply not able to reinforce properly against this heavy Roach aggression, which it seems like though it's completely caught him off guard. Roach is heading into the natural, streaming into the main, killing all of the probes they see inside.
Oh my god.
Here to stand. Immortal gonna pop out, but how long will it even be useful?
Void Rays are good, but they kill Roaches for such a long time. It takes them forever to kill them, and the main is being ravaged, the natural will fall surely. There are almost no units for Darkomicron to defend with. Look at the number of links that are streaming down. GG, well played, Red takes it.